fact that each woman had chosen not to congregate with the other parents and caregivers over by the benches had not been lost on either of them. It seemed significant that both had turned away from the social groupings that spring up naturally in places like playgrounds and prisons. Still, despite these promising signs, they were cautious. Other mothers had presented themselves as potential lifelong friends, but had ultimately been drawn back to work, had given into the siren song of the suburbs, or, despite their initial bonding, proved incompatible once you discovered that they spanked or voted Republican, or when you were over for a play date, made you put a nickel in the swearing jar every time you cursed. Allegra never swore, but Paige did. Paige's quip as she stuck $1 in the jar, just in case that the swearing jar might more accurately be named the therapy jar, was not appreciated. As a result, the potential friend pool had become shallower, the pickings slim. In that way, the playground wasn't unlike a singles bar. As time passed, standards fell, until they found themselves being seduced by a copy of Swan's Way in a New Yorker tote bag, a woman in Ray-Bans wearing an REM t-shirt with pearls. Now, as the mothers watched their daughters digging a hole together in the sandbox beside the elephants, each held her breath, hoping the other little girl wasn't a hair puller or a bucket stealer, a Band-Aid eater or a baby talker. And as time passed and their daughters remained bent over their plastic little shovels, laboring as tirelessly as grave diggers, the mothers relaxed. Finally, Charlotte, who could never bear a silence, said, "You girls are doing such a good job there. Hey, work together nicely." Paige nodded. They are indeed. "Are you digging to China, Lucy?" Charlotte said. "I liked doing that when I was a little girl. Why, I could dig for hours." Truth was, her mother would no more let her dig in the yard than fly to the moon. In wintertime, when the other kids were romping in the front yards and building snowmen with wide, aphasic grins to stand sentinel, Charlotte was relegated to playing in her backyard. The snowmen behind her house looked like they were stealing a smoke. It wasn't meanness on her mother's part, it was simply that the sight of an unspoiled, perfectly white blanket of snow stretched across her mother's front yard made her happy. She had said that if Charlotte and her father ever came up with a creative idea, like their neighbor who had started a trend by making a lawn jockey snowman, they had her blessing. Watching Lucy jabbing at the sand with her shovel, Charlotte resolved that she would let her daughter dig wherever and whenever she wanted. "Oh yes, I loved to dig as a girl," Charlotte said. "Looks like fun," Paige agreed. The girls, seemingly mesmerized by their task, ignored their mothers. "Is it a pit?" Charlotte asked. "Or a swimming pool?" "From here, it looks like a tunnel," Paige said, though her first thought had been trench. "You two aren't planning to escape, are you?" Charlotte laughed nervously. Why had she said that? She couldn't count the number of times Lucy had torn out of the playground, barreling through the gate and onto the sidewalk, only to be intercepted by a stranger. Invariably, a mother, her baby strapped into the stroller like a sleepy test pilot. She'd collar Lucy the way you would a hyperactive dog. And Charlotte would as ever lie. "She never does this," only to get a smug, pitying look in return. Charlotte kept on. "Are you playing family? Are you making a cake? Or," Paige grinned, "are you pretending to be witches?" At this, the girls stopped and turned, each giving her mother a look of disdain, a preview of what they could expect when their daughters became teens. "I guess it's a secret then," Paige said. "Oh, a secret," Charlotte said in that aren't they so cute you could just die voice. "You two have a secret." Aha, Paige thought. There was the catch. The woman was one of those imbeciles who let their children record outgoing messages on their answering machines. The stammering and giggling, the sound of the parents feeding their child the lines, "It's message, not massage, pumpkin." Where did these people think they lived? Over the rainbow in a hollow tree? They sat there in silence for a minute, and then Charlotte yawned extravagantly, and Paige yawned in solidarity. When she was still pre-med, she had known exactly how many muscles it took to yawn, at least 100. For as long as she could remember, she believed that being able to take care of people, having the power to fix people, was the greatest, most noble thing a person could do.